I'm Daryl Killian, and this is the Auto Insider. If this is your first time watching one of our videos, welcome. If you're a returning Auto Insider, welcome back. And if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't already, subscribe so that you don't have to miss any of our reviews each week as we bring you what's new, what's hot, and what's not in the automotive industry. This week, we have the 2023 Genesis G90. This is the flagship luxury sedan from the Korean automaker. If you're not familiar with Genesis, maybe you're familiar with Hyundai. That's the parent company. This is the spin-off luxury brand, much like Lexus spun off from Toyota years ago and Infiniti spun off from Nissan. Genesis is here to take on the likes of Lexus, BMW, Audi, you name it. And if you ask me, those brands better pay attention because we certainly are. As beautiful as this matte white G90 is on the outside, where it really shines is on the inside. Let's go inside and take a look around and see why Hyundai is demanding a six-figure investment to get into the Genesis luxury line. Let's go inside. And if you can't tell right off the bat that this is a luxury vehicle worthy of a six-figure price tag, how about this? So the first thing we want to check out on this Genesis G90 is obviously how it compares to the vehicles that Genesis intends to compete with. We're talking about the flagship Lexus. We're talking about Mercedes S580. We're talking about the BMW 7 Series, Audi A8, long wheelbase in particular. And we want to see what is it about this Genesis that makes this Korean automaker feel like they can really compete in this category. When we look at the vehicle, all the aesthetics are there. The attention to detail here on the interior is there. But when we talk about ride quality, road holding, drivability, will this vehicle really stand up to these long-standing icons in the luxury vehicle market? After that, we want to just look at, on its own merit, what is it about this Genesis G90 that's being so well received in the market? Every review that I've seen about it, people are lauding its luxury appointments, the technology available in here, and the creature comforts. So we'll go through all of that, but for starters, as we start off in this vehicle and we start to drive, I've done a couple of drives on some major interstates here in Atlanta, some really bad roads. The services are terrible. And so far, the noise cancellation, the ride quality, the sound deadening, it's here. This vehicle has been very well insulated and the driver is isolated from what's going on the road. I don't know if you can tell from this video here, but I can't even hear wind noise in this car. So we do have multiple drive modes. We have Eco, Comfort, and Sport. Eco does save on fuel, I'm sure, because the response on the accelerator is almost non-existent. When we go over to Comfort, it does give you this cocoon-like feeling, ride, acceleration. Very different than my experience in some of the German luxury vehicles. I know the S580 and the new BMW 7 Series, electric and gas powered, are being presented as very luxurious, comfortable vehicles and not really going back to the German heritage of being a driver's car. That said, I haven't driven the new S580, so I don't have a real comparison for that vehicle. From my past experiences though, Genesis doesn't appear to be going after that driver type category. It's not a vehicle that's very responsive. It doesn't have great road handling and holding ability. But I don't think that's what the Koreans were going for in this luxury vehicle. That said, this land yacht is what I'm gonna call it, does have pretty good feeling on the drive. I don't feel completely isolated from the road. I do get a little bit of feedback here, but it is really tempered so that it's not intrusive to me, the driver. So as a 50-some-odd-year-old man looking to potentially retire in the near future or even having to drive clients around on appointments, pick people up, do things of that nature. This is a vehicle that you will not be ashamed of. And in fact, you will probably look to be excited about picking up people and having them ride in here. The experience is unlike many others I've experienced. Kind of reminds me of flying first class. And speaking of first class, just the other day, I was in a really nice part of town here in Atlanta, Buckhead, where it's not uncommon to see luxury vehicles of all sorts. We're talking Aston Martins, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, Mercedes, to be seen everywhere. I was actually at a traffic light. There was a gentleman facing the opposite direction in traffic as well, and we happened to make eye contact. Older gentleman driving a white BMW 7 Series. I noticed him staring at this car, and I know, first off, I was thinking about this matte white paint. I know it's a bit different. It stands out for a luxury vehicle to have a matte paint job. It's a beautiful paint job, I might add. It's an option, but it's a beautiful paint job. But as our traffic starts to move on, the guy looked at me, gave me a thumbs up, and just nodded his head like, man, that's a nice car. So it passed the first test. Is it noticeable? Do people respect the appearance and the look of this vehicle? And will it at the very least attract their attention and be considered? And I think it goes without saying that there are plenty of luxury buyers who will consider this vehicle for their next vehicle. It just will be dependent upon what they think about the drive and ride quality when they get in it. So far, the build quality appears to be superb. So I think they'll have that piece down too. Now, this 6-figure sticker price might make them have to linger a little bit longer at the possibility of investing that type of money in a Korean brand that is new relatively to this luxury car market. That'll be the true test. This Genesis is more than inviting. And when you step on the brake and push the start button, this enormous instrument cluster and display infotainment system light up as you'd expect in a luxury brand. The steering wheel is fitted with all of the things that you expect from a luxury brand these days. Things like smart cruise control, radio controls, touch button that moves you through your preset radio stations. And you also have an additional LCD monitor here for your heating and AC controls. This is a perfume sprayer, and it smells lovely in here. But that's not all the luxury. You have soft things like touch points like this that just add a little more sophistication to a luxury sedan. Then, technology. This touchscreen had a long day or about to start a long day. Choose your mood that you want for the day, and the G90 will take you there. So you can't feel this, but I have immediately started getting a back massage. The rear blinds activated to block the light out. We're in a space of serenity and comfort, not just because of the sound in here, but because of the feel as well. Infotainment system, you have multiple functions that you can control here, even like setting up different things the way you want them to work here on your G90. And if this high-tech touchscreen infotainment system doesn't impress you, how about this intelligent cruise control? As you can see, no input from the driver, no acceleration, no braking, and no steering. We've set the speed, the distance we want to keep from the vehicle ahead of us, and the Genesis G90 takes over from there. But that's not all. This back seat of the G90 may be one of the most impressive back seats we've been in a really long time. I think you'd agree. With this full LCD touchscreen pad here in the back that allows you to operate all the controls here, radio, blinds, lighting, storage here, cup holders that slide away out of your way, and extra storage compartments along with USB charging ports. This isn't a family car, but it certainly is a show place for the second row passengers. If you are fortunate enough to get your hands on one of these, you'll probably want to spend just as much time in the back seat as you do in the driver's seat. Here in the back seat is where this Genesis really shines. This LED touchscreen allows you to control your heating and AC. You can actually control the seating positions, and you can even do what's called rest. And as you can see, the front seat passengers as well as the back seat passenger both have skylight. But if you want to turn the light out, so as I sit in the back seat of this luxury sedan with the six-figure price tag, I've been trying to justify why would anybody ever need a vehicle of this class. But while I can't come up with a real reason why you would ever need it, if you want it, you also want it to do things like this. Now, as soon as I get $101,000, this may be on my list. And if there wasn't enough already to love about this G90, Genesis also improved the fuel efficiency by getting rid of that V8 from the 2022 model year and replacing it with this 3.5 liter V6. It has an E-Supercharger, puts out 409 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a silky smooth 8-speed automatic transmission, multi-chamber air suspension, and rear-wheel steering. And if you've ever driven a full-size sedan, you know turning radius can be a big deal. And with this four-wheel steering on this G90, it makes light work of any parking situation. That's all the time we have today on the Auto Insider. But for more of what's new, what's hot, and what's not, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, then download the SoundCloud app and listen to all of our reviews in their entirety. The 2023 Genesis G90, flagship luxury sedan for the Genesis brand. And I think flagship represents this vehicle well. When you compare it to the German and Japanese counterparts in this class, you get a lot for your money with this G90, which makes it, in my book, hot and a bargain. Let's say white hot, because this matte white paint really finishes it off. Until next week, I'm Daryl Killian for the Auto Insider.